Welcome to Wrestler of the Week, Week 18. It pretty much works like this. If you are a professional wrestler and you made the most impact on the industry, you will be named Wrestler of the Week. Every week, points will be tabulated, and at the end of the calendar year, whoever has the most points will be named Male and Female Wrestler of the Year. If you want to see what I use as criteria for Wrestler of the Week, be sure to check out my Week 1 episode. What a week this was. We had a major NXT and New Japan show. We got continued builds to Clash at the Castle and Forbidden Door. And we were treated to one of the best crossover matches of the year. So let's just get into it. First, the men and some honorable mentions. MJF returned to Dynamite with an absolutely fire promo. Welcome back. The Bloodline 2.0 continues to cook on SmackDown. The Blackpool Combat Club and FTR arguably had the best TV match of the week. Ethan Page had a hell of a successful week, even in defeat against Trick Williams at NXT Battleground. Ben Kay won the Open the Dream Gate title from Louis Monte, while Hayo retained the Open the Brave Gate title from Flamita. AJ Francis won the TNA Digital Media title on Impact from Laredo Kid. And finally, we have Tetsuya Naito, who is the official #1 contender for Jon Moxley's IWGP title. And now the top 10 wrestlers of the week for the men. We have a crazy tie to kick off the list this week, and it is for Joey Janela and Mance Warner, who at GCW Cage of Survival 3 both won the GCW World title. First, Janela besting 9 other competitors to win the title in a Gauntlet of Survival match before dropping the title to Warner, who cashed in his do-or-die title shot, hit Janela with an Impact DDT, and won the title. The whole thing seemed to be orchestrated by GCW General Manager Matt Cardona, who initially stripped Blake Christian of the title. Are we headed towards a run where Christian regains his title? We will see, but this is about our 2 new GCW champs. First, Joey Janela, and now new current champ Mance Warner, who kicks off the list for the men. At number 9, we have the participants of our 2 main WWE title programs. First, on Monday Night Raw, we had Damian Priest all over the show before a massive confrontation with Drew McIntyre after defeating Rey Mysterio in the main event that ended with McIntyre going through a table ahead of their Clash of the Castle battle. Over on SmackDown, Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles continued their heated rivalry as their match at Clash of the Castle has now been made into an I Quit match. And this is a case of WWE taking simple rivalries and just using the star power of those involved to sell their matches. I expect Cody and AJ to have a good match, but probably with Cody winning. I sort of expect Drew to win his match with Damian Priest, but it is a little harder to call when you have a Chicago-made, Punk-sized potential spoiler lurking in the shadows. But both matches this coming weekend should slap hard, and I wouldn't be surprised to see at least one new champ emerge. The main players for WWE's main title programs land this week at number 9. Tony D'Angelo pops up on the list at number 8 for retaining his NXT Heritage Cup against Damon Kemp in a good match with an unsurprising result. D'Angelo is in a good place as Heritage Cup champ, as it gives him something to fight for while also slowly developing his evolution as a more mat-based character and moving away from the Italian mobster stereotype, which I feel is one of the things really hindering D'Angelo's ceiling. What D'Angelo needs is a real, violent challenger that isn't just a physical challenge, but a true psychological one as well. that would push D'Angelo to the limit and have him reconsider and revisit his Italian stereotypes and maybe rethink how he must win matches. But I do like Tony D'Angelo in NXT. He is a very good wrestler despite the hindering gimmick, and he does land on the list this week for retaining the NXT Heritage Cup, and he is at number 8 this week. For the third straight week, the feud surrounding the WWE Intercontinental title lands on the list this week at number 7, and this feud just continues to cook. Sami Zayn came out on Monday Night Raw to call out Chad Gable when he was interrupted by Alpha Academy, complete with Maxine reading a prepared statement that served as pretty much a distraction for a heinous attack by Gable. But things devolved as Akira Tozawa and Maxime seemed to tire of Gable's abuse towards Otis. And when Otis made a move like he was about to defend himself, the arena almost became unglued. Either we are going to get some major catharsis from the eventual Alpha Academy uprising, or experience some major heartbreak when Otis firmly supports his mentor and perhaps causes Sami Zayn to lose the title at Clash at the Castle. Either way, this is the kind of storyline that just continues to be great, and I can't wait to see what's next. We got our major players for the WWE Intercontinental title coming in at number 7 for the men. We have 2 champs in Ring of Honor Television Champ Kyle Fletcher and New Japan Television Champ Jeff Cobb arriving on the list at number 6 for retaining their television titles this week. First, Fletcher in a very good match against Dalton Castle that saw the 2 trade DDTs and brainbusters before Fletcher hit a super kick and pile driver for the win. And Jeff Cobb lands on the list for retaining his TV title at New Japan Dominion against Tomohiro Ishii in arguably the match of the night. These 2 big men went to war, with Cobb even dropping Ishii on his head from a belly-to-belly suplex, but Ishii popped up like nothing happened and would later hit a goddamn Frankensteiner. The man with no neck isn't human. Cobb would counter Ishii to hit Tour of the Islands to retain, and man, is Jeff Cobb one of the bright spots over at New Japan right now, while Fletcher is 178 days into his reign. Ever since defeating Zack Sabre Jr. for the TV title in New Japan, Jeff Cobb has been on an absolute tear with great matches to add onto his title reign. His is one of the reigns I am really enjoying, and I just hope to see more Cobb doing his thing. Fletcher in Ring of Honor seems to be running out of challengers. I am interested in seeing who will step up to provide a real challenge for Fletcher as he bounces between Ring of Honor and AEW. Whoever is able to defeat Fletcher and Cobb will have a big win under their belt. But for now, we got Ring of Honor Television Champ Kyle Fletcher and New Japan Television Champ Jeff Cobb at number 6 for the men. NXT North American Champ Oba Femi is on the list at number 5, and he pretty much had a dominant victory over Wes Lee and Joe Kofi at NXT Battleground. Femi powerbombed, launched, and murdered, death killed all in his way towards another dominant victory, and I have no idea who can beat this man. I really don't. He has an unstoppable aura around him that is only growing. I want Oba Femi versus Gunther in my veins. That just seems to be the natural order of things. The absolutely dominant NXT North American champ Oba Femi arrives on the list at number 5. We have El Desperado landing on the list at number 4 as he defeated Taiji Ishimori in the main event of New Japan Dominion to win the 2024 New Japan Best of the Super Juniors. The title isn't as prestigious as it once was, but it still carries some weight, and we did get a good match out of it with stretch mufflers and bone locks. This match just had great energy to it. At the end, Desperado sent Taiji into the exposed turnbuckle, followed by a Jay Drillo and Pinche Loco, giving him his long-awaited and emotional victory, and we get an insane follow-up as Desperado will meet Sho in a steel cage, and that match has the potential to slap, as we saw attempted murder in the last New Japan cage match. We will see how that goes, but for now we have a 2024 Best of the Super Juniors winner, El Desperado, who lands on the list at number 4. AEW World Heavyweight Champ Swerve Strickland arrives on the list at number 3 for successfully retaining the AEW title against Roderick Strong in a very, very good match on Dynamite. While there was no doubt over who the winner was, the two still put on a hell of a battle, with Strong breaking backs like Shawn Michaels breaks hearts, and Swerve just bringing the amazing offense. It took a stomp and house call to bring the victory for Swerve, and now we look towards Forbidden Door, where we have a legit potential match of the year contender between Swerve and Will Ospreay on the horizon. Swerve has been a great champ for AEW so far. I admit it started out a little rough, but he is now settling into a nice groove as a fighting champ, and all I ask is for AEW to continue presenting him as their biggest star, which I admit the promotion still struggles a little over. But that is neither here nor there. This is about accomplishments, and Swerve Strickland retaining his AEW World Heavyweight title this week lands him on the list at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is the reigning IWGP champ, Jon Moxley, who at New Japan Dominion bested Evil in a wild lumberjack death match for the title that saw Evil pretty much antagonize the babyface lumberjacks, the babyface and heel lumberjacks going at it, and it finally took a curb stomp and Death Rider onto a barbed wire bat for Mox to score the victory and win. Mox is basically carrying New Japan on his back right now, as the promotion is clearly in a rebuilding phase as President Tanahashi figures out what direction to take the company. Moxley is just a reliable, durable hand that can be plugged in wherever he is needed, and right now, he is badly needed in New Japan. Now that we have a new challenger in Tetsuya Naito at Forbidden Door, we have a real test for Moxley. Who will emerge victorious? We will see, but for now, congrats to IWGP champ Jon Moxley for defending his title at New Japan Dominion, and that places him on number 2 on the list. And the Week 18 Male Wrestler of the Week is the current NXT champ Trick Williams for defending his title against an absolutely game and aggressive Ethan Page at NXT Battleground. Trick had to battle against this overly aggressive Page, who seemed to be a step ahead every time, but it was essentially Page's hubris that got him in trouble. He is known as all ego. But this was a great title defense, and I am 100% certain we haven't seen the last of Ethan Page in the NXT main event scene. But Trick Williams has a major title defense under his belt to establish him as the face of NXT, and now the door is wide open for challengers. Literally. Like a forbidden door. I'm ready to see what is next on the horizon, but congratulations to our NXT champ Trick Williams, the Week 18 Male Wrestler of the Week. And now the women and some honorable mentions. Ella Envy won a women's #1 contenders title shot on NWA Power. Giselle Shaw returned to TNA with a big victory on her renewed path toward the TNA Knockouts title. Speaking of the Knockouts title, Tatum Paxley and Ash by Elegance made their intentions known when it comes to Jordynne Grace's TNA Knockouts title as seen on NXT Battleground. Toni Storm built momentum towards her Forbidden Door match with a win over Lady Frost. Liv Morgan continues to be a thorn in the side of Judgment Day and Dominic Mysterio. And Layla Gray defended her OVW Women's title versus Gemma in a title versus career match. And now the top 10 wrestlers of the week for the women. We kick the list off with Lola Vice from NXT, who at NXT Battleground won the biggest match of her career, defeating Shayna Baszler in an entertaining NXT Underground match that saw Lola take Baszler out after Baszler brained herself on the steel steps before Lola rocked her with a back fist and clubbing blows to make the ref come in for the stoppage and the win. Vice is being primed as a major star on the NXT roster, and I can see it. She has a great look and presence, and working with talents like Natalya and Shayna will only help continue her development as a top talent. What is next? We just crowned a new North American Women's Champ. Could that potentially be in the cards? Who knows, but Lola Vice got herself a major victory, and that lands her at number 10. We have new women's tag challengers Alba Fire and Elsa Dawn, who on both Raw and SmackDown found themselves in all sorts of confrontations with the WWE Women's Tag Champs Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. First, with the UK pair attacking the champs on Raw during their title match against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, and then again on SmackDown, where they convinced Nick Aldis to add them to the tag title match. And now we have a triple threat at Clash of the Castle, and the reception our witchy duo should receive should be special. Alba Fire and Elsa Dawn are two amazing talents who honestly should be doing more than appearing on specialty pay-per-views as the hometown talent. Hopefully this triple threat will open some new opportunities, as they are certainly deserving of them. Let's hope, but for now, Elsa Dawn and Alba Fire land on the list for the women at number 9. We have a new NWA JCP Women's Champ Kylie Paige, who bested Freya the Slayer at NWA JCP Southeast number 8. As one half of the youngest NWA Tag Team Champs in history with Ella Envy and the Pretty Empowered faction member unseated Freya, and the continued dominance as we experience the Pretty era and NWA keeps trucking. Freya the Slayer's open challenge was responded by Paige, who ended Freya's 400-day reign. And the door is wide open for all sorts of new directions and challengers. But it is clear Billy Corgan is all in on Pretty Empowered and the 20-year-old Paige. Our new NWA JCP Women's Champ Kylie Paige lands on the list for the women at number 8. Maxine from Monday Night Raw lands on the list at number 7, and she had a major week as part of the Sami Zayn-Chad Gable Intercontinental title rivalry. Maxine came out with the rest of Alpha Academy, minus Gable, to read a prepared statement and to challenge Sami Zayn for the title at Clash of the Castle. Gable arrived for a surprise attack, but when Gable continued his abuse towards Otis, Maxine stood in Gable's way and even went down on her knees begging and pleading for Gable to stop the abuse. Even if she isn't exactly setting the world on fire in the ring, how Maxine has been integrated into this storyline has been great. WWE, in fact, has been doing a great job lately integrating men and women into interconnected storylines, and it is starting to play off by expanding characters and giving audiences a reason to care for them. Even if she is lower on the totem pole when it comes to wrestling ability, I have to admit she is bringing the character, and that is appreciated, and this brings Maxine from Alpha Academy on the list at number 7. We have the team of World of Stardom title holder Maika, along with Mina Shirakawa and Xena, aka Empress Nexus Venus, for defending their Artist of Stardom titles against Odayo Tai at the latest Stardom at Korakuen Hall event. The team has been champs for 72 days, but not only that, but we have Micah and Xena putting a stamp on their future World of Stardom title match. And we got Toni Storm challenging Mina at AEW Forbidden Door, so all our Stardom champs have full plates ahead of them. I am all for Xena getting a title shot, as I think she is a lot of fun, even if I personally don't think she has much of a shot against Micah. Also, I am super interested in Mina versus Toni Storm to see where Mariah May plays into all of this. For now though, we got our Artist of Stardom champs, Empress Nexus Venus, who land at number 6. Ring of Honor Women's Television champ Billie Starkz arrives on the list at number 5, and she had a very busy week. First defeating Zamea in a Ring of Honor Television title proving ground match, then besting Kylie Ray at BLP Family Reunion. Starkz for me is one of the bright spots of Ring of Honor, as her alliance with Athena really helped to take her to that next level, and I am expecting a feud between Sparks and Red Velvet to kick off soon, and that should be a lot of fun. Remember, Starkz is only 19 years old and has a whole life ahead of her, much less a whole wrestling career. And there is so much more she can learn and explore as a wrestling personality. But man, does Starkz have one of the best educations out there with her learning on the job, and I enjoy her work. The current Ring of Honor Women's Television champ Billie Starkz lands on the list at number 5. Dani Luna, the current Rev Pro Women's champ, arrives at number 4 for her very good match she had at Rio at Rev Pro Live in London '86. The two went back and forth with package pile drivers onto the side of the ring and great suspense before it took 2 Luna landings for the victory, and the hardest challenge for the Rev Pro champ is in the rearview mirror. Rio is a hell of a talent in herself as the Progress Women's title holder, and I can very easily see this feud being revisited in the future. But for now, we have Dani Luna running roughshod over all comers as the Rev Pro Women's champ, and that lands her on the list at number 4. The Juggernaut, TNA Knockouts champ Jordynne Grace appears at number 3, and what a week she had. First, on Impact, she successfully retained her Knockouts title against Allison Kay before coming out short against Roxanne Perez in the biggest match of her career at NXT Battleground, which I believe was the best match of the night, even though it took interference from Ash by Elegance and Tatum Paxley, who both seemed to be angling for a Knockouts title shot as well. Grace looked amazing in her first big-time WWE match, and I am sure she impressed enough that it will not be her last. She was also protected in defeat, and I can very much see Roxanne Perez returning the favor at Slammiversary. But again, what an insane week the Juggernaut had, and her star power is only rising. Jordynne Grace lands on the list this week at number 3 for the women. We have the first ever NXT Women's North American Champion, and that is Kalani Jordan, whose victory in an insane 6-woman ladder match for the brand new title lands her on the list at number 2. Jordan won a great match that saw Saruka attempt suicide several times, Lash Legend get destroyed by all the women, and Jada Parker hitting one of the best ass plants this side of Toni Storm. At the end of the match, Parker was the recipient of a split-leg moonsault from Jordan before she climbed the ladder and won the title. Some may see the victory as a shock for Jordan, but I feel NXT has been doing a good job of positioning her as a star in the promotion, and we have such a strong female division in NXT that Jordan will have several opponents gunning for her, and she will make for a great plucky babyface fighting champ. Congrats to Kalani Jordan, the first ever NXT Women's North American champ, who comes in at number 2. And the female wrestler of the week for week 18 is the current and reigning NXT Women's Champ, the Prodigy, Roxanne Perez, for essentially staving off TNA Knockouts champ Jordan Grace in a hell of a match at NXT Battleground. It would take interference from both Tatum Paxley and Ash by Elegance fighting over Grace's title to provide just enough of a distraction for Roxy to hit Pop Rocks for the victory, and this truly established the Prodigy as the one to beat on NXT. Ever since her heel turn, it feels like Roxy has just ascended to another level. I love me some Roxanne Perez. Everything she does matters, and she is so heads and shoulders above everyone else. NXT has to resort to bringing in women from other promotions. God damn, bring on Julia. Until that time, congrats to the Prodigy Roxanne Perez, the female wrestler of the week for week 18. And now the weekly standings for the men and the women. This was a great, insane week, and things are just going to keep going. I have to get ready to do Wrestler of the Week for week 19 because Clash of the Castle, Forbidden Door, those are all coming up. Things are about to get crazy. What did you think of my picks for Wrestler of the Week? Do you agree or disagree? Share your thoughts, leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can get notifications as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.